Welcome. This is BEAU'D Not Broken, the BEAU'D Not Broken Network, and we are here. I am here with Christian Jensen and his son Connor Jensen. What I'm trying to do is put out a social cast or a live broadcast every day, and on BEAU'D Not Broken, the concepts that we've created, or the life that we've been involved in and created here. BEAU'D Not Broken, if you remember real quickly, kind of a review. We all have challenges, we all have things that affect us, and the BEAU'D Not Broken pillars are faith, courage, and endurance, and how we try and go through life with the balance of those, and how we maneuver in and out of problems, successes, things like that. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to give you hope, give myself hope as well. And so each and every day I'm going to be interviewing new people, regular people that are or have been, have gone through challenges that they've used the faith, endurance, and sometimes the courage to get in and out of situations. And so real quickly, I wanted to make sure that Christian has kind of helped me a little bit with this whole process, and so he's kind of aware of it. Connor, I wanted to get kind of an age, I want to make sure we had some age here, and then obviously myself being the old guy, but let's get started.
The old guy?
The old guy, I'm the old guy. Christian, maybe you could tell some of the viewers of a situation or situations where the BEAU'D Not Broken concept, I know you've been a part of a little bit of the development of it, but some of the things that you've gone through in your life, and maybe how you've thought of, how do I get out of this? How do I inspire? That's really what this is too, is how to inspire each other to greatness, to better ourselves, and to find that balance.
Well, I think we've all gone through we all have our own stories. Every single person's got a different story. You've got a different story than me. I've got a different story than you and Connor's got a different story than all of us. And I went through a really rough time in my life. Probably, I don't know. How long has it been? It's 13 years since the divorce. I went through a divorce from somebody that I thought I'd be with forever, and the whole thing. You have a family. We had 3 kids, and boom, next thing you know, it was kind of cut and dry. Bam, it was over. And I had a really, really hard time understanding it, with what happened, and dealing with that in my own life. And I know it's funny. I felt so alone and so outcast, and so I died inside. And I got to a point where I was actually suicidal. I felt like I just didn't want to be around, and the only thing that kept me around were my kids. And then I found out later that I realized that so many people were in my same shoes, and I kept meeting more and more and more people who went through the exact same thing. And that feeling of camaraderie and acceptance and validated through the good and the bad, even the pain that I was going through, I was validated in that pain, saved my life, like literally saved my life. And when I heard what you were doing, when we got together after you went through a divorce and went through some of that same kind of stuff, and we've talked in private many times about it, but realizing what your goal was, and it was very casual, wasn't very developed or anything. That's when I jumped in and wanted to put my 2 cents in and help where I could, because I believed in the concept of BEAU'D Not Broken, and I thought it was brilliant with your name and the whole just the whole concept of, if you're not broken, if you're bow and you're not broken, you're not dead.
Right.
You still have hope, and you're still worthy of feeling important and validated, and
that's
important.
Worth something. That's important. Talk about that validation for a minute. Talk about what was it really that helped you out of that hole, out of that, was it one person? Was it the faith maybe you had in yourself that something would happen, or faith in God, a higher order? What gave you that courage to really just kind of go, I'm okay, and I've gone through all this, and this is how I'm going to get out of this?
Well, I think it was the thing that got me really interested in pulling myself out of the hole that I was in was the fact that I realized there were so many people in this world that my issues were just comical.
Right.
Compared. So I had to focus my efforts.
But they were your issues.
They were my issues,
right.
and they did need to be validated, and they were very real to me at the time, and they were, it's all relative. It doesn't matter the level of issues. You got issues. If you have issues, you need help. And my help I wouldn't reach out for any help. I was proud. I'm a lot like you in that way.
Exactly.
Very
I think we're
proud.
all like that.
Very proud. Yeah.
I think we're all like that.
Connor's proud. But so I'd stay in my own little hole, and when I'd get on, one of the things I started utilizing literally was YouTube. And I'd get on and I'd just look for motivational videos, and I'd look for
motivational speakers.
Yeah, speakers.
Right.
And I'd look for the Nike ads, and I'd look for the and I'd
just do it.
Yeah, just do it, and cry me a river. Quit crying about
No, try.
Yeah.
Only do.
Only do. And then I'd look at motivational things. I'd look at I'd purposely type in the search. I'd look for kids who are dying of diseases and cancer, and their campaigns and their plea for help, and their as pathetic as that can sound, it was the most impressive thing, made the biggest impression on me every time I'd watch these videos. And when I'd watch the videos, it would make me want to watch another video and another video and another video, and then get involved in helping other people. And then I started realizing that when I'm in the service of other people, I'm only helping myself, and I'm feeling that gratitude, and that pain was going away because I was engulfed in someone else's issues and not my own.
Right.
And then I started analyzing that over time. Nothing was
so
overnight.
It was a process.
It was a process. Yeah, it was a process.
And it didn't have any time frame. Didn't have a time frame on it. And I think that's a lot of our viewers. I know a lot of people that I deal with and talk to and work with. We think that it's going to be real quick. We know it's going to be real. Sometimes it is. Sometimes we go through a challenge or a problem or a deep depression or something like that, and we think it's going to be, boom, it's going to be quick.
Yeah, I think with you saying that, I think that depression is a massive issue in this world today.
Yeah,
with technology and these false sense of securities that we're reaching out for all the time, trying to. It was like the.
Yeah, speaking of reality, this is reality, folks. Reality TV is good, but this is better because it's reality. We're talking about what, there are a lot of people depressed. There are a lot of people out there that look at Facebook or any social media and they go, oh my gosh, it's the perfect couple, or it's the perfect family, or it's the perfect whatever.
Well, that's funny because I'm a social media kind of geek, going on 50 years old, and I people think I post my entire life and there's nothing they don't know about me. And that's not true. I actually post very little, but at the same time, I'm when I do post stuff, I'm honest and I speak my mind, and I do my best to post the best stuff and the good stuff. Try to stay away from politics. If anyone knows me, I apologize for my political rants once in a while, but I think depression is a real issue today, and there's more suicides today than there ever have been. Yeah. And there we go.
Little glitch in the system. Sorry about that. I haven't figured out how to make my phone so when I get notifications, it doesn't stop the live feed.
But I think that I really do believe that there are the easiest solutions to dealing with depression today, and it's really those simple acts of kindness and love, and the things that mean the most are usually the most simple things.
Right.
And just, I mean, when you just do when you just make an impression on somebody without expectations attached, when you do something for someone else without an expectation attached,
That's very real.
It's very real, and
we don't know how we affect people.
Right.
We don't.
That's where I resonated with you, dude. And I mean, when I really got to know you, just rather than just casual buddies on Facebook, I saw somebody who you've been a professional football player, you've been a chief of police, you've been a candidate for Congress, and you ran for sheriff twice, and you
lost jobs,
and you were a professional college teacher. I mean, you're a guy who holds credentials that were so impressive to me, and your real life example to me on a very personal level, not on a social media level, was really impressive to me, and that's what attracted me to you. And then you really helped me through some times where just in your example, and I don't even know if you know that, but you've really helped me a lot in your pressing forward and not giving a damn what people think, and just and I know for a fact I'm speaking for probably thousands of people out there just in Utah alone who look at you and roll their eyes at your goofy videos and some of this fun stuff that you do, which is great. But
male custodian security.
Exactly, but you're a guy that you just press through stuff that most people, after going through what you've gone through, wouldn't be here. They just wouldn't be here. They wouldn't be alive.
Thank you.
That's the message I want to send to my son.
And that's what I want people out there to know, that there are that's my hope for these social casts or these broadcasts, is that we can help each other. That's what we want to do. Tell me a little bit about Connor. Tell me how much. I know you love him to death.
But Connor, we have a love-hate relationship, but mostly very genuinely loving relationship, right? Because he was my first boy,
like any dad and son.
And he's just
Truly.
the love. He'll never understand that until I'm probably long gone.
Right.
He'll never understand the admiration and the love I have for him as a young man and as part of me. I mean, he's like my right arm, and he's been through a lot. After that divorce, he went through. He just literally fell into a black hole, and we couldn't get him out, and he was emotionally just gone. And he just delved. Why don't you tell your story about what happened and what you delved into, and you started the video games and the.
Well, really, it all started with, after that divorce. I had one friend throughout elementary school, and he defended me against like bullies all the way up to a point where, when I went to a separate middle school, he went to a separate middle school, and I was just by myself for 6 years.
You might have to speak up. I think you might have to speak up louder.
And it was just really hard for me because I had spent all these years by myself, no girlfriend, and I still haven't had a girlfriend, even someone to love genuinely. And it's just, I don't know, it's hard to explain in my head because I've just been alone for so long, and I really haven't felt the comfort of others.
But have you really been alone though?
No, I haven't. That's the crazy thing.
Yeah.
But it's just,
you want to feel validation, maybe.
Yeah, and and being depressed and I still am a little depressed even today, and not because of that, but just other things. But it's real. I mean, on multiple occasions I've just told my parents, like, I'm done. I'm just gonna off myself, gonna go drive off a cliff somewhere, and just, because I didn't think anyone would care if I was gone. And I still have those thoughts even to this day, but I still am here, and I keep thinking there's people around that care about me, and that's just
A lot of
thing.
people.
How interesting is that, when we talk about lives and ages where we think we're so depressed that we think about doing things like that. That's a normal thing. I'm not a clinical psychologist,
they're very
but
real.
It's real and it's normal for that. And I think one of the things that you've shown me, Connor, because I've known you for a few years now, you don't give up. You don't give up.
Yeah.
And I think the one thing that I think that I wish for you is for you really to find that if you can take some time to really find what your dreams are and go out. I tell my sons the same thing. Some of them doing good, some of them aren't doing the best. But I tell them, you're still young. You're 22 years old, and the world. You're gonna grab the world like by the tail and put it in your pants. You're not going to do that. I mean, a lot of people aren't going to do that. We got to remember some of these these people in history that we think are great and that have done so much. A lot of what they did was in their 40s and 50s and 60s and even in their 70s. And that's where I think people sometimes, young people, think that they have to go on a mission, or they have to go in the military. They have to just create some kind of a whatever just to feel validation for that,
Right.
where you can get that validation in other places. We're not going to solve any problems, right away. But I think the reason we have Connor on is because it shows the youth of people and really that you're not alone. Just like your dad said, he's in his 40s or 30s. I'm in my 50s, and there's sometimes I think I'm alone.
I'm 50.
I'm 53. I'm older than you. I'll always be older than you. But, I don't know. I think that, if you, and that's why, we're hoping you can give other young people hope, and also give yourself hope through talking about some of these issues and talking about, I see such a great relationship between you two. This doesn't happen very often. I mean, there's a lot of kids that I know, young people that I know, that just don't have that support system.
Yeah.
And I think it's, hopefully you can take advantage of that.
What we were
and
talking
I'm not
about
lecturing,
earlier today, right?
I'm not lecturing.
We don't have. There's a lot of kids that are kicked out at 18 that you're on your own.
Right.
And the reason Connor's still at home with me is because I have a hard time. Even if he wanted to go and he's begging me to leave, man. Like I'm getting my own place. I'm gonna have the issue because I just want him around and I love him. But we've talked a lot about in the past about developing Connor online and having his own thing, telling his story and going to schools and talking about bullying and talking about being
That really
harassed.
affected you a lot, didn't it?
Yeah,
Oh,
it's a big
I
time.
mean, big time. When did that start?
It started about eighth grade. I mean,
Eighth
seventh
grade.
grade, I had a few friends that were here and there, but I just never got into it. But eighth grade hits, and these guys knew I was just this loner, had no
Right.
friends, no one to defend me, and they just would pick on me. Even friends I've been known for years, they ended up being bullies themselves throughout high school.
Yeah.
And
It's
I just-
amazing. Kids are ruthless, man. Teenagers
Well,
are
they
ruthless,
are.
aren't they?
They are.
What was the most ruthless kind of thing that guys would do to you? What was the
really,
worst?
they didn't do any physical damage, but they did a lot of mental damage, and I think that's worse than actual physical damage, because they would just look at me and say like, oh, every day would be something new about, and it was correct about
What,
me.
like flipping your hat off?
You're
and
in-
just kind of.
And they were insecure. Yeah.
You're insecure, and then that affected it made you very insecure about yourself. And
Oh yeah, and that's why I had these.
didn't even
thoughts
know
of-
if you were dressing right, probably, huh?
Exactly. And
Wow.
It's crazy, and and some days when when I'm in gym class, that was the time they would pick on me the worst, because there's no supervision. The teachers, every time I went to a teacher, they would just be like, "Oh, it's nothing," and that's coming from the teachers. And some days I'm like, I want to just break
One time
this
he
guy's
called-
neck,
Tell him what
Yeah,
happened.
I was saying, I almost wanted to break this kid's neck that has been picking on me for 2 years now, and I was just finally called my dad, and I said, I'm gonna snap this guy's
Talked
neck.
him down.
And sure enough, he came to pick me up, got me out of the class. I mean, the teacher was kind of saying you can't take him out. It's like, well, either that or I break the kid's neck. So it's.
Were you afraid of any of the bullies? Like,
no, I was never really
that's
afraid.
that's the scary thing is, you know, when you get picked on for so many years and so long, and you know he had no fear of them, and he's a big kid, and he could have really hurt somebody too, and he would have been in trouble, and so I think the issue of bullying especially for young people, I mean, it even happens in your 40s and 50s, believe it or not, bullying and people feeling alone and neglected. And that's Connor. That's been Connor's big issue is neglect, not feeling validated, and just feeling a little different, he just isn't the greatest in social scenes, and his words would come out a little awkward.
But then again, he's really great at expressing himself through music or doing doing things that like please people, I guess.
Right.
So he's a people pleaser, but finding that avenue for him right now is pretty important.
Yeah, he's a people pleaser because he wants to feel that he wants to earn the validation. He feels like he needs to earn it. And I've spent years of my life explaining to him that you're never going to earn in a teenage atmosphere. You're never going to earn it. You're not going to earn your. It's how cool you are. It's how much money you got. It's the social scene, and it just means nothing.
Sounds like adulthood.
10 years from and again, it can happen in adulthood. And I'm so proud of Connor. He's worked on film projects for me for a $1 billion company, and he wrote some music for a soundtrack thing for them, and they loved it. And he's been a grip and been part of the intricate part of the film crew, and did sound and did shot video.
So he's BEAU'D, not broken.
He's broken.
He's finding his path, like we all are. Really, I was telling him that earlier. Whether you're 53 or 73, sometimes I guess, unless you're retired on the beach, you know, you're finding your path. No matter, it's changing, especially in today's world. You know, I think what we can all do is maybe help Connor in his path that way. You know, his story getting out there. I think you ought to, you know, develop some way of getting him out there and
absolutely
talking about the whole bullying thing.
He's a powerhouse. This is the funny thing is this kid is a powerhouse. Right now he's just trying to work. You know, he's trying to get to the gym every day. He's trying to do less video gaming and all these different things that they're patterns and habits that keep him imbalanced. And I think life is about balance. It's faith, courage, and endurance. I mean, faith, courage, and endurance is prevalent to everyone. It's critical to every human life on this planet if they want to be happy and feel accomplished and success. I mean, we're talking about a guy named Ty Lopez that we were following on Facebook, and it's this guy living in these mansions up in Hollywood, and man, my hat's off to this guy, and he's actually proving models. He's proving things all the time that he's progressing through social media and helping other people. But even knowing that maybe 1% of the people who are he's trying to help, genuinely try to help in the masses, will actually do something with it. And you're very much like that Ty Lopez in a different sense, helping people, you know, like people going through really bad marriages and going through. We talked about that before we started shooting. Is you know, you got people trying to get out of good marriages or bad marriages, or trying to work on their marriages, or all these different scenarios, but just different age groups. And you're talking to a whole segment. Ty Lopez is talking to the younger, you know, 20 to 35 years old, trying to make something for their lives, and you're talking to people 35 and above, in your world, you know, and you're a savior. You're kind of a saving grace to a lot of people, and that's what I personally.
Well, I want us to be. I want to have Connor back on and, you know, talk about his progression and talk about, have you on again, but talk about his bullying and, you know, not focus on that, but talk about how he's coming out of that, and the things that he's doing to, you know, I think you have a really good situation where you can explore, you've got a place to live, you know, you've got a place that's going to give you 3 squares if you need it, and not that you're not contributing to it, but I think you ought to follow some of your dreams. Maybe throw it out there a little bit. I mean, what's the worst that somebody can tell you? No, right?
Yeah.
And you knock on a few more doors. I learned that. I had to learn that the hard way in politics, knocking on doors or asking people for money. You know, a lot of time. Imagine how many times a lot of people said yes. That's what was crazy. It was like, you know, that scene from Tommy Boy where he's trying to get the sale, and the guy goes, "Sure, I'll take whatever," and he goes, "Really?" You know, that kind of thing. You got to ask. You just got to push your way forward.
And you got to want it. Here's the thing too, and this is a good example. Just using Connor as the guinea pig here. It's getting the taking the initiative to act on whatever it is that you claim you want. Talk's cheap, you know. Talk's cheap.
Right.
A lot of people say they want this and that, but no one will get off their butt. I'm not saying no one, but typically the reason people don't have things is they didn't even take the first step. They didn't even get off their butt to go for it because it was what? It was uncomfortable. It's an uncomfortable step. It's uncomfortable.
And life is uncomfortable.
I know, and so I tell these kids, I tell all my kids, fight to get out of your comfort zone. Fight to stay uncomfortable every day. I've learned that. My dad taught me that. My whole family believes in that kind of thinking. Stay uncomfortable. It doesn't mean you have to be miserable, but stay uncomfortable. Get up early, and go to the gym before and get home by 9 o'clock instead of going to the gym at 9 o'clock or 10 or whatever, and then having your day wasted away. Your opportunities open up, and I think that goes right along with older people too. Oh, you know, I'll be 50 in March. Why is it any different for me? If I don't get up, I make the kids make their beds before they go to school. Make your bed before you go to school. If they don't, they're going to hear it, and they don't want to hear it from me. And it's called discipline. In today's world, I notice less and less and less discipline.
We talk about that in the fitness world.
It's
Everybody wants
true.
a pill.
Everyone wants a pill. You can send people to the moon. You don't have a pill that can take care of you. You know, come on.
Thanks. I think we've gone the time we want to go. I want to thank Christian and Connor.
Absolutely.
This is all about that. The topic, or at least this show is called "Why Are We All BEAU'D Not Broken?" or "Why Are We BEAU'D and Not Broken?" And hopefully these little segments will give you some hope. Any kind of comments, questions to bring up, any show topics, anything that I can do to make this better. Again, this is kind of the inaugural live broadcast. We'll throw this on YouTube.
People are commenting. We just can't read it.
Yeah, they're
from
probably
the
saying,
distance, so
you guys really suck.
we can't hear you or something.
Yeah,
There's gonna
probably.
be something.
You probably can't hear the whole thing. We're just standing. Anyway, it's an attempt, and we're going to keep doing this. And appreciate you watching. Hopefully, again, if there's anything we can do, let us know. Remember, it's all about the bend.